Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. Today I want to talk to you about pride of physical media collecting. So, I'm doing a new series called The 7 Deadly Sins of Collecting. And the first one I'm checking off is pride. Now, a thing with physical media collectors to understand is that we are all very prideful of our collections. This I'm very prideful of. I love my collection. I think it reflects me. But there's a lot of times with pride where we collect just to impress others. We collect to show off. We collect to say, we have it. We collect to say, hey, you don't have that, but I do. And so my collection is superior to yours because whatever. There is so much times where pride interferes with collecting habits. And they intersect in a lot of ways. So you have collectors who buy and upgrade endlessly just to have the new feature, the new thing. You see this recently with Jurassic Park being re-released on 4K. Now, I have Jurassic Park in my collection right here, and I'm very much aware that this is now an outdated copy because they've released a new version that has less digital noise reduction, DS, DNR. Sorry, don't know how to brain part there, but I bought this version back in like 2018, 2019 or something, and this version does not have Dolby Vision. And it has DNR, digital noise reduction. So this is a inferior version to the new version out there, at least to most collectors. And if you were looking at a new collector right now saying, oh, why would I buy the old 2018 version over the shiny new 4K in 2026, 2025, whatever it was? Well, it's very simple. Because of pride. We want to have the new thing. Now, it doesn't matter that this could go for a few dollars. You could get this probably 80% off at this point at some stores, maybe even 90% off because they've replaced it. It doesn't matter because even though it's still a 4K, you're going to want a new one. You want to have the new hotness. You want to have the new fine edition, And this is where we start collecting to impress. We see it a lot with collectors where we start collecting to impress others. We start collecting to say, we have it. We don't need any more because we have the best of the best of the best, sir. We have honors. If you know what I'm referencing, you know what I'm referencing. Yes, it's Men in Black. But there's certain times where we collect and we don't care how much it costs. Now, my thing early on when I started collecting 4K in particular, when I got back into Blu-ray and 4K collecting, was I wanted the best. So I had an LG C9. I went out and bought a Panasonic UB820 player. And I also went out and bought 4Ks because it was the new thing still. So I went out and bought about 50, 60 grand worth of 4Ks. Maybe a bit less because I was also, in my calculation a few years ago, I was also including Blu-rays. So it could have been less than that on 4Ks overall. But I would say it's probably 50 grand. Now, this is very important because when you talk about pride with physical media collectors, and it's one of the set of 7 deadly sins, so as I said, I'm doing a new series called 7 Deadly Sins. It is a very much sin where you're getting prideful of your collection. You're like, oh, I don't care, I will fight you because my pride means more than yours, and my 4K collection means more than your DVD collection or Blu-ray collection. And you see the arguments so much on these collector forums where it's like, if you don't have the 4K, why are you even collecting? Like, why would you even buy a 4K? Why would you need that? You don't need a 4K. You see this so much in the vinyl community as well with CDs where vinyl collectors will say, oh, well, if you're collecting CD, well, what are you doing? You don't need CD. You want to hear it on vinyl the way it was intended, music with crackles and scratches and dust it down every other month. And then the CD collectors will say, well, why are you collecting vinyl when you can put this all in an iPhone and it'll be the highest rip wave possible and, you can do it as a FLAC and it has all your files and everything's good for future-proof for 100 years. And then you have the tape collectors who are just like, we don't care what either of you are doing. We just want to put in a tape and not have to skip, not have to worry about maintaining it. We just put a tape in there, play it, cassette, boom, we got our music. And we can record off radio. Because the tape players are coming back as well, surprisingly. And every format thinks they're right. VHS collectors think they're right as well. I showed this on a recent video where I was reacting to Phil with a double L, where I showed my King of the Ring on the stream on my video. And I have a lot of VHS tapes. I've also sold a lot of VHS tapes. But this copy is altered on streaming. So this version is not the version that you can catch on streaming. So VHS collectors might say, no, VHS is the correct forum because when a lot of these things were released, especially with old sport, You're going to get a more accurate version on VHS tape with the music and all, especially when you're watching WCW, than if you're watching on Netflix or if you're watching on Peacock or wherever you watch your WWE or your WCW old school things on YouTube or whatever. So why am I saying all this? Because everyone has pride about their collections. It's not just the 4K collectors. It's the Blu-ray collectors who say, well, why won't we upgrade to 4K when Blu-ray is still the best of the best because it looks beautiful, it upscales great, and it's not a stupid price to get it. So Blu-ray do have a point. Collectors do have a point with Blu-ray. DVD, entry point to the market, the biggest catalog in terms of disc you can get. In terms of the disc, video disc, it is the biggest catalog known. At DVD, nothing touches DVD. And it's still the number one market share. People will say, well, look at DVD's market share. It still outdoes and outperforms Blu-ray and 4K combined. Because a lot of people want cheap, a lot of people just want it there. So DVD collectors feel like they have the biggest pride to say, yeah, I've got the best format of all DVD, and DVDs actually had interactive menus back in the day, and I can show that. VHS, even Betamax people who collected VHS tapes often get annoyed because the Betamax people say, well, I've got better versions of movies on Betamax because, Betamax could hold more resolution or hold more sort of data or whatever it was back in the day. It could hold more, and yes, that's an analog format, but people get prideful about Betamax. People get prideful about Laserdisc, because I was a Laserdisc collector for a bit. People get prideful about that, saying, well, Jurassic Park, because we talked about Jurassic Park, people talk about Jurassic Park on 4K, we don't need that. We want the DTS sound. You're not really hearing Jurassic Park. Yeah, you're seeing a great visual effect on the new one, but where's that DTS that we heard in the cinemas in 1995? Laserdisc is better. There is so many different ways to look at this. And why it is prideful is that we all argue with each other. We all feel we're right. I collect 4K, I collect everything. But we all feel like we're right. And there is no right or wrong way of collecting. And while I also agree that there are certain things I would like to enjoy in the highest resolution possible, like 2001 that was shot on IMAX or like 65mm film. It's not IMAX, it's 65mm. Or Nolan, I could watch the Nolan movies that were shot in IMAX. These are things that would look great on 4K. There's also a lot that doesn't look great on 4K, like Terminator 2, like I think people also call out True Lies. I think people also call out The Abyss for the digital noise reduction. A lot of Cameron movies are kind of controversial when it comes to 4K. Some people love them, some people hate them, but they're all polarizing. And then you have Nolan, who is pretty much loved by the 4K community because it all looks great. It's shot for IMAX, it's shot for physical media, and it looks great. But we all get prideful about this. And I want to know what you guys have to say about it because, as I said, while I'm doing these 7 Deadly Sins videos, I want to know what you guys have to say. Do you think that we're kind of just arguing about irrelevant stuff? We're all physical media collectors at the end of the day. We all collect. We all love what we're doing. We all love that we have a physical representation of a film we love. And I think it's just wrong that we start arguing and tearing at each other and saying, you know what, your collection means nothing because it's not the highest resolution. And then people come back and say, your collection means nothing because DVD is the biggest catalog and you can't even get that movie on 4K or Blu-ray. And then, as I said, there are so many different formats, everyone feels like they're correct, and there is endless pride where we all fight about it. And how much are we actually interacting with our collections? When you get to a scale like this, like my collection, I've showed it many times in many videos. When you get to a scale like this, it becomes problematic where you're never going to be able to interact with everything. And that might be another deadly sin in my series, the lust and also, wanting stuff and, pride goes hand in hand with lust, I must have it now. I love that piece of artwork on Donnie Darko. I love that Donnie Darko movie that I must have it in my collection. I have watched this on 4K though. It's beautiful. But I must have everything that is known to man because I need to have a bigger catalog than Netflix. Or a bigger catalog than Stan. Or a bigger catalog than Paramount or Disney or Amazon or whatever. We all argue about this. And I think we all get too prideful about it. But this is the first deadly sin in my series. Do you think we have too much pride? Do you think everyone's collections should be respected? I don't care if you collect DVD, VHS, Betamax, 4K, whatever, VCD, whatever you collect. I like to see collections of people who love their media. And I like to see that we're actually engaging with what we're buying. We're actually engaging with the community. We're actually engaging with movies. We're actually engaging with what we love. But let me know down in the comments. I'll leave it right here. This has been the first Deadly Sin. I have 6 more of these coming. And yeah, if you like this video, like, subscribe, drop a comment. And while I'm at it, I will put a couple of playlists here. You can check out a couple of my other things. And also, while you're at it, why don't you subscribe to my other channels? Because I got a couple of other channels, and definitely follow my TikTok, Jamie Toomey Presents, and Instagram, Jamie Toomey Presents. I want to see you guys across everything. Go and follow me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.